I want to start here. Kind of take me through this Jaden Rashada, timeline to speak. All I know, there's NIL, there was $13 million promised, there were payments that were promised, and those payments never happened. He decommitted, goes to Arizona State, plays a year, and now he'll be enrolled in the backup quarterback at the University of Georgia. Man, please help me kind of digest what's been going on.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy that we could have a Georgia quarterback suing, or I guess we do have it, right? A Georgia quarterback is suing the head coach at Florida, his main rival. Probably indicative of the situation that college athletics is in right now. It's in an interesting, strange place. And about 3 years ago, the NCAA, of course, lifted its rules, allowing players to earn compensation on their name, image, and likeness. And that opened up boosters and booster-led collectives, like groups of boosters basically funding football teams and paying for recruits under the guise of NIL. And this is what happened with Jaden Rashada, except his payments never went through, right? He was promised over $13 million by the Florida collective, booster collective, specifically from one booster, was going to fund much of that. And basically, before he signed, the payments didn't arrive. Only one payment, I think a portion of the money arrived, and then the Gator collective canceled basically the contract, but just got rid of it within a few weeks of the agreement. So that kind of started this spiral. But Florida obviously still wanted to keep Jaden Rashada, right? He was a highly ranked quarterback. And so apparently, according to the lawsuit that was filed, Billy Napier, the Florida head coach, promised Jaden Rashada at least $1 million of that $13 million, at least $1 million on signing day, I believe, to sign with the Gators. He did, right? And then he got out of it, obviously, transferred to Arizona State, and then transferred back east, as we know, to Georgia. So kind of a crazy confluence of events there, but no surprise with the lack of rules around NIL that we have broken promises in unfulfilled contracts in the world of this booster-led NIL world. I think it happens a lot. Jaden Rashada's was one of the more public ones.
Ross, the big question here is, was there a signed agreement or was this a handshake agreement? And is this also a cautionary tale in the NIL space, especially with college basketball? Obviously, football is a monster of its own, but it's one thing to sign a contract and have an NIL contract made out that has to be fulfilled versus a sort of handshake, wink, wink kind of agreement where a lot of these guys who enter a transfer portal it's all about phone calls and they go sight unseen. Is this what you're talking about in terms of the NCAA has to find some kind of groundwork so that this doesn't happen to other athletes?
Right. Yeah. And we've seen it now for 3 years. The broken promises, the unfulfilled contracts. I think, the contract with the Gator Collective, I think is in the lawsuit there, and it was a contract. It was in paper. And a lot of these are, but they still get broken, and they don't become as public as this one has become, especially now with the lawsuit. But we're seeing kind of how often they play out. And I think the NCAA is in college athletics in general is making strides into preventing these things from happening. One of the ways they're doing that, obviously right now in the news, is the settlement of a bunch of antitrust cases that will create a new model for college athletics moving forward, which they hope will prevent a lot of these things that have happened to probably hundreds of players, including Jaden Rashada.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.